I'm Natalie and I'm from Hong Kong.
My name is Hannah Hipwell-Surfati and I'm from Hong Kong.
My name is Hannah Van Duil and I suppose I'm from Hong Kong.
Hi, I'm Zachary Paris-Jones and I was born in Hong Kong. I'm half Filipino and I'm half British. Filipino on my dad's side and British on my mum's side, which isn't really that common in Hong Kong.
So I'm half Australian on my dad's side and then half Jewish from Moroccan descent and French on my mum's side.
I'm half Chinese, half American.
My father is Dutch and my mother is Japanese.
So my dad's half Finnish and half British, and my mum's full Jamaican.
Ethnically, my dad's Indian, my mum is Chinese.
Which side do you identify more with, Japan or the Netherlands?
Most people, it wouldn't be an annoying question, but just the question, where are you from, is kind of frustrating because my answer changes every time because I don't know which one to say. And the second one is, if I ever mention I'm Indian, they immediately ask, do you like curry?
Are you a Jew? Like, I'm not a Jew, I'm Jewish. It's part of my identity, it's not my whole identity. And also, the whole Jewish-Israeli thing can get confused sometimes. There are many Israelis who are in fact not Jewish, and it's quite a multicultural country, and I'm not Israeli, so those two things can be separate.
When they're like, oh, do you listen to Kendrick Lamar? Do you, like, what kind of music do you listen to? Like, is it all black music? They kind of just like pinpoint like very, like stereotypes of one culture, and they kind of just assume that you're a part of that.
I'd say it's not so much an annoying question as it is annoying answers. So if I'm walking down the street and someone asks me where are you from? And I say I'm from Hong Kong, answer that they're looking for is what race are you? Which, I kind of find annoying when it's random people who don't really know anything else about me, because that then becomes the defining factor.
I think the fact that my Australian family is not Jewish, so celebrating Christmas with them was something that took a lot of getting used to because it's not something I did with my mum. And having to explain to them the whole Jewish aspect. It's difficult explaining to like your own siblings about your religion.
Sense of belonging, like understanding, trying to kind of like come to terms with who you are. It's just hard because you're just constantly trying to pinpoint what about your personality means what, and like who do you see yourself as. And you have your friends who are kind of just all know that this is my home, this is where I grew up, this is my culture. But with me, it's like I'm constantly borrowing things from both cultures. There's not one definitive thing I can call like home, so it's hard.
Not knowing where you fit in, it's like, especially for like cultural days at school and stuff, you're not really sure if you should like go to this one group and participate in the cultural day with them, or if you're like Japanese enough or Dutch enough, and it's just hard knowing where you're supposed to belong. Yeah, especially with a lot of people, they have this idea of you being one or the other, or like not being allowed, like not being Japanese enough to fit into this like idea, and yeah, so there's some exclusion that goes on.
Growing up, we all look for for identity, basically. Like, I'm good at this is my hobby, I'm British, I'm American, and we use that to understand ourselves during this like vulnerable time of growing up.
Best thing about being mixed is, I guess, being able to blend in with so many different people and different cultures. I mean, at school there definitely still are cliques based on race, and I've never felt as if I'd had to stick to one because I can kind of just move in between them without too many people batting an eye. So that is one thing that I've always loved.
I guess like appreciating so many different things about so many cultures and being able to embrace that and embody your parents and see themselves in you in different ways. And I think it's like a crazy example of how like your parents come together and then they produce you, and then you're like an embodiment of like them all mixed together. So it's pretty cool.
Like I said, having family in a lot of different places and having a lot of connections to different areas of the world, just insight, like intimate insight into different cultures, especially for me, since like Europe and Asia, they're really different culturally, so it's super interesting to see what that's like, and also hear like what the older generations think, because they're quite different.
Definitely getting an insider look at so many different cultures, because even though I may not completely understand or be a part of like the Indian culture, the Chinese culture, when I'm with my Indian family or my Chinese family, or when I'm back in the US or with friends in the UK, I get to be a part of that community just for that short time while I'm there, in a deeper sense than just a tourist gets. So I feel pretty lucky for that.
I think the traveling, definitely. I've been so lucky. I've actually gotten to go to Morocco when I was younger, and I've been to Australia nearly every year of my life, and also France, and I just get that huge mix all the time, which is really special, and it's so different. Still, like, sometimes I can't believe how different my two sides of the family are.
I'm not actually sure. I mean, I like having my heritage. I like being sort of unique. One thing that I like about myself is I am unique. I'm not just any random person. Being British and Filipino, that's something that not a lot of people are. I think being mixed race at the moment isn't exactly a very common thing yet. I think there's still a lot of people who are. The vast majority of people in the world, they're still, they're one race. So I think this is something, it's pretty interesting,